So here's Tua Tagovailoa, coming off a loss yesterday against the Chargers. Jason, what are your concerns, if any, with the Dolphins quarterback?
Yeah.
You know him really well.
You're Mr. Tua.
Yeah, I love Tua. That's my guy. These last 2 weeks for them, you look at them, they're right now, they're in that wild card spot. And we talked about some of the teams below them. Tua's going to have to play better because as well as Miami's played throughout this season, now it's going to come down to how you finish for them to remain in the playoffs. Chargers beating them. They're another team that's in the hunt, or lurking, as I should say. You have the Jets. You have the Patriots. So for them to play, they're playing well on defense, but they're not going to carry them. The same way we talked about the 49ers. They lose Jimmy Garoppolo. They have the best defense in football, and they don't need a ton from Purdy to be able to win football games. The Miami Dolphins, for them to win, for them to play as well as they did early on in the season, they need Tua to be at his best. And these past 2 weeks has been off with some throws. I'm not going to pretend to know all the intricacies of their offense, but him and McDaniel have been fun to watch this entire season. And these last 2 weeks have not been it. And for them to make a run or to even remain in the playoffs, Tua's going to have to play a lot better.
Well, you know, their defense was on the field for 80 plays against the 49ers. And then last night, you're watching it, and it's like, you can't ask the defense to do everything. You need a little bit of offense. You see the score, you're like, well, they kept it close. One of them was on a freak Tyreek Hill fumble play, and one of them was Tyreek just getting Mike Davis's legs a little caught up, and Tyreek does what Tyreek does. Tyreek Hill is being considered an MVP this season. So then what are you, Tua? Huge game Saturday night on NFL Network against the Bills, because it's not only 2 losses in a row and people starting to poke holes into the offense.
It's bad performance.
It's now cold weather and what you're going to have to do in January, because if they do make the playoffs, they're going to have to go to either Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City, one of these cold weather cities, and at some point win a big game. And Tua, as of right now, the last 2 weeks, is casting some serious doubt as to whether he can be that guy to do it.
You get one. You get a dud. You do. Everybody gets one. He had his dud against San Francisco. But the real ones, like, they don't put 2 duds together. They just don't. Like the Mahomes types and just their elite guys, you don't see back-to-back poor games. That's what we've had. This is a massive game. We all saying it. This day and this weekend is like, you can't lose 3 in a row. You can't play poorly 3 times. You open up the conversation to the whole weather thing. Like, this is the biggest game of Tua's career this Saturday. That's what it is. He's got to have it.
We heard Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth in the broadcast last night commenting, like, this is what the 49ers did to the Dolphins. They're doing back-to-back. What I saw was that there were no slants. His slants that Tua would hit, and the speed guys, Tua and Jalen, would just take off up the sideline. They just locked up the middle, and they took that ball away.
Well, they were on them. It wasn't a game where they came in playing back and playing zone and keeping everything in front. They got up in their face. So when they ran those slants, we saw Asante Samuel get in there and knock one down. Mike Davis, they were right tight on those guys in coverage the entire night. They weren't afraid of them running by.
Scary if a defense figures
really
it out.
Quickly, that in the Hunt graphic that's changed to lurking. We've had a Twitter follower, a good one, Fresh402, says he got it all wrong. Lurking has to be in caps lock.
That's what I think.
Lurking.
Lurking.
Yeah,
lurking.
It makes it scarier.
Looking.